Good morning, traders. I hope everybody out there is having as good of a morning as I am. Look who I have with me. It's Jared. If you were in the chat room, you were just talking with him, or he was talking at you. Now he gets to talk with us. Jared, how are you feeling this morning?
Peter, welcome. Good morning. I'm feeling well. Got a little bit of nerves, I gotta say. It's been a while since I've been on YouTube, so my heart rate is higher than average. I can feel it.
Fantastic. Wow. I like the enthusiasm then. He's eager to go. We've got the heart rate pumping. That's a good thing. You know, I got my protein shake going here this morning. I went to the gym early this morning, and it's one of those things that I've realized I always feel much better when I go to the gym early in the morning. It actually does a good job of getting me ready for the day and energized. Like I need more energy, right, people? Anyways, but it's a lot like trading, I've noticed, because it's hard to get up early, right? And if I let my brain think about it, I can find a million ways to convince myself to stay in bed. I find the way that works best is I just turn my brain off in the morning when the alarm goes. Don't think about it. Just get the automatic motion going. Just get up, go get in the car, go to the gym, do the thing, come back, and I find that I have a great day. I tell you this, guys, because I find it's a lot like trading, right? I always talk about when you need to be smart and dumb, and I was thinking about this a lot yesterday. My trading is best when I actually don't think about it. When I'm trading, I know my strategies. I know what I'm looking for. Just keep looking for them. When they happen, don't think. Just act. I know what I'm looking for. Does it meet my criteria? Yes, go. Because I can overthink my way out of trades like a boss, and that is not helpful. So, anyways, there's my tie-in lesson for you guys this morning. Not really a rant, but there's
It's rant light.
Rant light.
It's a
rant
light. It's a little teaser tray for what's to come.
Teaser rant. All right, indeed. Well, guys, let's start as we always do with the economic calendar. We've got a couple of things today. Not much, really. At 9 o'clock, so in the show, I'll try to remember to come back to this. We actually have two different home price index numbers coming out. There's the S&P Case-Shiller home price index, which is coming out, which is basically a measure of 20 different cities in the U.S. and where the average home price increase is. It's almost always an increase. And then the overall house price index, which is a month-over-month measure. So the Case-Shiller, I think, is sort of a year over year. I would assume so, because if in 1 month it's gone up 6.3%, that would be problematic for anybody buying a house. But anyways, two different numbers, both coming out at 9. And then at 10, we've got the consumer confidence number. None of these are big market movers, but we want to pay attention to these things because we know the impact that these economic events can have. Like we were talking yesterday, Thursday, when we had basically our last, I guess, major economic event, that's when we had our big day and the markets moved, and we're still living within, I guess, the bounds of what happened on that day. Yesterday was no different. I was looking at the Qs a little earlier. Let me call up that chart for you guys, and you can see the big candle we had on Thursday, and then Friday, Monday, and then today, I don't know, but we were sort of within that, like an inside day going back to that Thursday. So today it looks like we're sort of towards the downside of that. Maybe we'll break out the bottom. I don't know, Jared. Top or bottom? What do you think? Or are we sticking within the bounds?
Oh, yeah, that's the difficult thing about balance trading is don't assume you're gonna get out of that box. So
right.
We have been talking about market indices just kind of living in some of the ranges from last week. You're starting to see the effect of that over the past couple of days, and quintessentially, this is just a market in hold. We're looking for reasons to get out of balance, but as long as there's nothing significant going on, we often expect to come back. Maybe not that session, but over the next day or two, finding our way back to the central point of that box.
There you go. See, I love Jared. A very balanced answer, and he's always going to tell you, look at the data, right? He doesn't make a
Right.
prediction. He says, here's what I expect. If the data does this, I react this way. If the data does that, then we do something different. That's how you trade, guys, right? You wait for the data to tell you what's happening, and then you react to that based on your strategies. So, excellent. All right. With that said, let's get into the gappers list. We do have a few things gapping this morning, and I got a couple more that we'll talk about as we go along. Not a lot of earnings. We're really at the tail end of earnings. We do have one that we're looking for this week, and that'll be tomorrow after the close. Nvidia, right, is coming out with their number, and it seems like I don't remember them always being so late. Jared, I don't know if you remember. It seems to me like they've almost engineered it to be all alone, so they sort of get the limelight for a day or two when their earnings come out. But I thought they were within the mix before. Maybe I just don't remember their
No,
earnings.
no, Nvidia's always kind of been one of the laggard names, but
Okay,
Nvidia really over the past year has only had the market impact that we acknowledge. So
that's
the
a good
size
point. I
of
mean,
Nvidia, yeah, it's
right?
honestly grown to be one of the big shakers.
We've only been focused on them over the last year, which is why it's now, that much more obvious, I guess, that their earnings are a little late. Okay, anyway, so that'll be later, which means that at the moment, we'll start right there. Anyways, Nvidia, not doing all that much. It's got its usual good volume, 6 million shares traded. Like this baby is always in play, but because it's not on news, it's going to be moving with the market. Now, it's always arguable: is the market moving with it? Does it move the market? I who knows? I don't know. I'm going to wait for what the data to tell me, right? So we'll wait and see how it moves, and then I'll react to that. But one way or the other, we know it's going to be in play. All right, so back to that gappers. Let's check out what we've got moving on it right now. I'm going to pick. It's not that long, so we could probably take a look at all of them, and we'll see if they're stuff that we actually want to add to our list. First on the list is PHG here. I'll tell you right now, don't like it. I just don't like it at all. It doesn't even have good volume this morning. Look at this daily chart. This looks horrible. We don't even need to talk about it. We're going to move on. HMY. Wow, this has been on and off the list over the years. They just make our list, gapping up 2.8% with about 200,000 shares traded. It's a mining company, which usually, you guys know, I usually say I don't love the miners. They don't typically move all that well for intraday trading. Jared, do you have any news on these? Anything why this gold company is moving this morning?
Nothing specific to that ticker. The only thing I could say would be gold prices might have some ability to move today or within the week, mostly off of dollar coming into some supports. So it's definitely like a tertiary effect for this one, but without seeing other miners up this morning, I'm not seeing anything exclusive to this particular ticker.
Right. Yeah. Well, I don't know. It just could be chance that it happened to have moved enough to make our list. So, all right. So, not a great one. Something else just jumped on the list here. ATO. I'll just take a quick look at it. Nope, don't love it. All right. So let's move. So that's it for the gap up. I mean, really short gap up list today. Let's just ask around a bit. Jared, do you have anything gapping up that you think we should be taking a look at?
Hmm. Let's take a quick peek and see. I've got a couple of short lists here. I'm mostly starting to look towards, let's say, sectors in focus. So some things that I might be looking for today are maybe the healthcare names to kind of show that continued defensive nature that we're seeing. I'm also starting to kind of peek into whether or not tech is starting to fade. So these won't be gap ups, but if anything is gapping in tech, it would stand out as relative strength. Just being kind of against the larger sector that we're hoping to kind of come back in a little bit after that large move off of August lows. Another one that kind of caught my attention this morning is JD. We saw PDD report earnings, pretty bearish reaction. I think PDD broke the year-to-date lows yesterday and sold off even further. JD started this morning with a bit of a gap up, but has come back in pretty violently back to the opening price of yesterday. So I think the sentiment in the Chinese conglomerates, or maybe just the those e-commerce names, might be a little mixed. But if there is a standout name, we'll kind of keep an eye on whether or not one pops on our list.
Yeah, JD had previously announced, I see it in the news, but I feel like I'd heard this earlier, that they do have a buyback plan, a $5 billion buyback plan, which is rare. That we don't hear the Chinese stocks buying back their own shares very often. I mean, not that it doesn't happen. It just, you don't hear about it as often. So, anyways, yeah, they're trying to signal to the market they believe that their stock price is undervalued in buying back, I said, about $5 billion worth of the outstanding stocks. So, I'm not sure. I don't see here a target price for them, but they'll have to buy it back at whatever the price is. So there you go. All right. Let's take a look at the gap down list then. We got a bunch of stuff on the gap down list. Here, WAT, Waters Corporation. What the heck? I don't see any volume on this. I'm not sure why it made my list. I don't like it. One that we had been talking about is Kava. So let's jump right there, because Kava Group was one that I know that in the room people were talking about it yesterday, because I mean it made a good move on Friday, continued that move a little bit yesterday. Some decent trading price action on this. The spread was high at times. But it certainly had a move off the open that was tradable, a little choppy for the rest of the day. Jared, any new news, or is this just sort of a hangover day? It's just giving back some of the gains it made.
A little bit of news to kind of drive this, I would say, selling from the top side. A little bit of insider selling and CEO selling a little bit of their shares, but overall, still a really strong performance post earnings. This is one that we'll probably start to see maybe balance out in these upper levels and start to create new price ranges. So definitely on the weaker side today, but in relation to our earnings, still gapped up and obviously still holding some of that performance.
Yeah, there is some insider selling here. I see that like Artel International, who is a 10% owner, significant size, 6 million shares. They've indicated they're interested in putting them out to the market. So, that would be a $730 million value. So, I'm not sure if that's because they want to cash in, or they just looking to invest in something different. But whatever their motivation, obviously that's the stuff that makes news for Kava. So, all right, so we might have a move down on that, with some insiders deciding to divest themselves of parts of their holdings. Yeah, we'll have to see if it moves. So there, a Kava potential. We can put it on the secondary. We'll look at it for setting some levels. All right, I think I'm going to have to get rid of some of these stuff. We'll probably go through these quickly. Arrow Electronics, ARW, don't like the look of it. SANM. So we're still working out some of the glitches on our list here to get rid of the stuff that shouldn't be there. HIMS, however, should be here. Hims and Hers Health. This has been popping up. Occasionally, it just gets this early pre-market volume. It's a NYSE stock, which is a little unusual for it to get 700,000 shares traded. I've never traded it. I've tried to watch it. Look at these daily candles right over the month. It just, despite the pre-market price action, it doesn't seem to carry through after the opening bell. Jared, any news on it this morning that puts it on our list?
Not seeing anything particular here. Was trying to also see just what we had gotten from its earnings, which was about 2 weeks ago at this point. Lots of pretty normal price action post earnings, and in relation to the earnings day, a lot of our price action kind of contained within that bar. So overall, not seeing anything that would drive it lower this morning, but not a lot of follow through either. So maybe a bit of an overall weaker name in the grand scheme of the market today.
Looks like this is unconfirmed, because I'm getting it from stock twits, but that Eli Lilly discounted some of the pharmaceuticals they're selling through Hims and Hers, some of their weight loss, the single dose vials, I guess, that they sell. I don't understand their business really, but anyways, so that could be why discounting the prices on that would obviously erode their profit margin. So maybe in play today. Like I said, never found good tradable volume on it, but if you like it, by all means, it's yours to trade. All right, keep going through this list here. AMRC. I imagine this is not going to be any good. Nope. WMG. Got some weird names on here. Warner Music. Well, this is interesting. Not any volume on Warner Music, but I noticed Warner Music and Paramount are both on my list. Paramount does have some, at least volume, down almost 5% here on about 600,000 shares traded. I haven't looked it up to know if the news is related. So, Jared, anything on either Warner Music Group or Paramount Global?
I am looking currently, though. That one's going to take a little bit of time to disseminate here. Um, Looks like we're looking at some different bids for Paramount, but that was quite a few days back for that news. So nothing hitting the tape as of this morning that I can really see. I'm gonna start looking into Paramount here to see if there's anything on that side. But as you mentioned, they're probably at least related, given that they both have a similar gap down this morning. So
Yeah, on Paramount side, I do see it was just last week that Bronfman said that he was going to put
yes,
in a competitive bid because remember Skydance is the prime partner for Paramount, if you remember, and they were working through the details. And then Bronfman jumped in and said he was going to make a bid and put in a competitive bid. And now he's saying just days later, oh, he's going to drop the bid. So I don't know, some billionaire games going on there, but it could be the removal or the pullback of that bid is what's got Paramount moving down a little bit. This is another one. I had it on my list last week, just waiting for the news to hit. Right, if we had new news about it, and of course it didn't happen, and therefore we really didn't get any movement on it. So I don't like this because again, you're just waiting for news. So I might as well just use the scanners and wait for it to pop up. Right, I don't need to put it on a list. All right, so why don't we move on then, since we're not seeing anything?
one noticeable thing with those types of catalysts, if there's
Yeah.
ever a price that the stock was reported at on the market, and then let's say the reason for a gap up or gap down from someone bidding on the company decides to change, we can often look for trades to move it back to that price. So if there is a reference price of when that original news hits, that's usually where the stock wants to return to, and that's usually our target for the session. So kind of gives us an idea of where we're looking to move the stock, if not today, maybe over the next couple days.
Excellent point, indeed. Okay. Next on my list, I have MSTR. This is MicroStrategy, one of our I don't know, not our primary, I'll say, semis on the list. Moving down 2.6%, relatively low volume, 330,000 shares traded so far. I think this is just moving with the rest of the market. I see all the semis in the red this morning. MSTR just seems to be ahead of them, down a little bit more than the rest. Jared, I'm assuming there's probably not any news on this.
Not seeing anything significant, but do recall that MSTR is more towards the Bitcoin sentiment side. So this is MicroStrategy with Michael Saylor as CEO. So if we're seeing, let's say, a fade in Bitcoin pricing, I would expect similar stock performance on anything that's highly correlated, and MSTR would certainly fit that bill. So if we look at Bitcoin's pricing today.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If we look at the fade,
yeah, it's down. And next on the list, I do see CleanSpark and Mara, which are obviously in that space. So, yeah, Bitcoin down to 62,300. If you're looking to buy some Bitcoin right now, if we look at the daily, we can see it's sort of faded the last 3 days. through the weekend and then yesterday. So not off significantly, right? We had again that big day on the 23rd that moved it like a lot of stuff up, and then we've just been fading back down a little bit. So again, Bitcoin, not my favorite stocks, or Bitcoin miners, I should say, not my favorite stocks to trade these days. But if you have a favorite, then it's yours. You can have it. I'll leave it to you. All right, that's it for that gap down. We'd already talked about Kavahim. Yeah, everything that I was looking at, we've already talked about. The only ones that we haven't, I mentioned earlier off the top, I was talking about Nvidia. That's gapping down about 1% right now. Good volume in 7 million shares. AMD, my good buddy, very low volume on AMD today. Only 200,000 shares having traded on it, but it's also down a little less, only about 0.3%. Let's check some of the others. MU, Micron, down about 1%, same as Nvidia. Intel, just doing probably not much. Yeah, it's only down like again 0.3%. So yeah, we're seeing a little bit of fade here into the semiconductor stocks, but that's sort of what the market's doing, because we go back to the overall market, it's down 0.3%, and the SPY, 0.3 for both. There you go. No surprises. Jared, anything else that we haven't already talked about that you think we should be putting an eye to?
Honestly, not seeing a ton this morning. I wish it was a bit more exciting for my debut here, but I just don't have anything showing up on my side of the list. I'm going to continue to keep looking. If something kind of maybe sparks up during the pre-market prep, we'll be able to maybe shift back. But as of this moment, it's just the average moving kind of day. Nothing going on.
Right. And I've talked about this many times, guys. That doesn't mean it's a bad day for trading, right? We don't have a lot that's moving on the list that's are unique. But when the whole market is sort of moving, and it can take all of our regular stocks, at least the ones I like to watch regularly. We've talked about the semiconductor sector. Tesla is always a good mover. Apple, Microsoft, right? There's a whole bunch of them that just typically get good volume and can give you trading opportunities. So don't sort of give up on the day. But if you don't see anything you like, right, there's nothing wrong with not trading. Sometimes people overtrade, thinking they've got to force something to try and trade or move, when that's the wrong decision. What did we say off the top? Let the data tell you. And if the data's saying, right, it's not a good day, or there's not a good risk to reward opportunity, then stay out of the market. Sometimes the best trade you can make is no trade at all. Doesn't mean you're not trading. It means you're being smart about it, and you're waiting for your opportunity, whether it comes or not. So better no trade than a bad trade. Exactly, Javier. That's precisely what I was looking to say. All right. So whether it's a big trading day or you're sitting waiting for opportunity, don't forget, we trade live with you every morning. So after we do the pre-market workup here, we're going to be trading live. I think we've got Brian and Thor on today. And then at 10:30, we do have a special guest. Mike is going to be coming on. He's going to be talking about our Peak Capital Trading Bootcamp. And we've done a number of these bootcamps and been able to figure out some of the common traits that make traders successful when they go through boot camp. So if you'd like to understand what those successful traits are, you might want to stick around here for 10:30 when Mike comes on. It should be a good, informative session. Give you maybe some food for thought about things you can incorporate into your trading, especially if you're just starting out. Okay, so that'll be happening at 10:30. What's that?
Yeah, I think with Mike coming on at 10:30, one thing to really listen for is kind of like pain points within your trading journey, and just acknowledging that not every trader is like a perfect machine. We all have things that maybe force us to do poor trade activity, and really just understanding how to accept who you are as a trader, to acknowledge some of your faults, and then build some of your trading around it. Because like always, trading is kind of a unique style and game for everybody who's involved.
Well, it is. And what's interesting is that even the perfect machine traders don't always do well in the markets, right? I mean, we talk about algo trading, it's out there, but they have their place, and certainly they can be profitable. But they don't dominate the market. Otherwise, we wouldn't have the opportunity to trade. So keep in mind that there's value in what we do. And like Jared was saying, when you're listening and you want to listen for things that may be a challenge for you, sometimes it can be reassuring to know you're not alone. Right? Like trading is a very solitary activity. You sit here and thinking, why am I so bad at this? Why am I struggling with this thing? Listen carefully, right? You'll understand that there's a lot of very common challenges that people have out there. And, so maybe it's not just you, it's hard. Trading is a difficult endeavor. I love it. It can be very rewarding in lots of ways, not only financial, but it ain't easy. So don't give up, stick it out, and hopefully we can help you on that journey. All right, all that being said, we can get to some of the stuff that we need to do here. Like, let's talk about what happens after this live session is done. We do have sessions that happen in the room every single day, and tonight it's Tuesday, which means it's a strategy and trade book session. Jared, I'm going to let you tell them what's happening today.
Oh boy, get to put me to work here. I love it. So, as Peter mentioned, as Peter mentioned, on every Tuesday we offer typically strategy and trade book webinars. Today at 5, just note the special time, we have our trade book webinar from Eamon, parabolic reversals. So Eamon has really refined the style, especially as an intraday opportunity for parabolic reversals. He's looking to probably talk through how to identify them, the best criteria, so you can kind of refine when to take those key entries, and then just managing the actual opportunity when you're in the trade. What I love about parabolic reversals in general is that you can apply this to swing trading styles or just bigger picture concepts. And it's one of those like low risk, high reward setups that can really offer some unique opportunities. So definitely join Eamon for that today at 5 p.m. Later in the following week, we have Megan doing another sort of strategy webinar, talking more generally about supply and demand zones. So where are the buyers and where are the sellers? In order to really identify that kind of stuff, we're really keen on trying to figure out what's the bias for the session, whether it's a stock or the index. And supply and demand zones can really help you key in on that information, along with just taking some of those intraday sort of unique pivot type opportunities or coming into an area and knowing that you have to be profit taking at the right time just because it's the area to do so. So Megan should be able to kind of key us in on a lot of that information, and that will be next week at 8 p.m. on Tuesday.
I'm on mute. There
All
you
right.
go. Thank you. And if you wanted to join us here at Bear Bull Traders after we go off the air, we still trade. We're still live all day until the markets close. We have a number of membership options. The best deal right now is without doubt, the Diamond Annual Membership. Not only do you get everything in the Elite Annual, but you also get a $50,000 funded account where we will pay out. Well, it's a royal we, is Andrew. But Andrew is going to pay you if you successfully make money in that account. That shouldn't be your objective. If you're going to do that, you're going to use it to learn and grow your trading experience. However, if it's always good to have a little bit of a payback opportunity, and that exists with this account. There's obviously some rules and conditions around it, but they're not that onerous. We just ask you to trade consistently and over the course of the account's availability. So check it out. Go to our website, bearbulltraders.com, and you can get more details about how that works. All right. Okay, and we do have quite a number of traders, by the way, a couple hundred, I think, that have already taken advantage of that. So we'll see how they're doing out there a little bit later. Yeah. All right. Let's take a look at setting some levels. Actually, before we do that, let's go back to our economic calendar because we just had the numbers come out. Like I mentioned, we had two numbers that I was expecting. One is the Case-Shiller composite house index price, which was expected to come in at about 6.2, 6.3%. Looks like it's slightly higher at 6.5%. So housing prices based on their number have gone up. However, that's a year over year number. However, if we go to their month over month, by the way, is 0.4%. So they're expecting 0.3 and it was up to 0.4. So a tenth of a percent higher. The other house price index that came out was expected to show a 0.1% growth. It's actually showing contraction at negative 0.1%. So not a huge difference, but it's down slightly. So we're seeing two conflicting numbers coming out there. And I'm willing to bet the market is saying, yeah, whatever. Let's see what it's doing.
Nada.
Nada. Yeah, the market has said, okay, thanks a lot. I don't really care.
Now, I will say that the consumer confidence number coming out at 10 is typically referred to as a bigger moment for the market.
Mm-hmm.
That one has more volatility priced into it. So, as much as we're not getting anything from our pre-market data, be on the lookout for that 10 o'clock time frame. That should be a little bit of a reaction. So,
Well, we'll find out together if you're right. But yes, it's good to keep that in mind because if you're in a trade or contemplating a trade, then just know, right, the market reaction to that, because sometimes it just can throw your risk to reward, calculations off. You might benefit from it, but it might actually move against you as well. So you just know at 10 o'clock that's happening, and that just presents a risk or opportunity moment for you. So. All right. Actually, one of the things I was looking while Jared was telling us about the webinar tonight was another stock, Trip.com, TCOM, because it's up almost 9%. Well, it just went below 9%, but it was up about 9% this morning. Low volume, only 200,000 shares, but they had earnings after the close yesterday. Weren't really watching them. I think their earnings were pretty late last night. It was either 5 or 6 o'clock or something like that. But it looks like they had a good quarter, and that's why they're jumping up here again. 10% is or 9%, nothing to shake a stick at, as they say. You can see here how it's been in a range for quite a while, and it's jumped up here a good $4 above that. So we'll see if it can hold it again. Like a lot of stocks, it's tough to get the volume and order flow you need to effectively trade this. But if ever there was going to be a day for TCOM, it might be today. Its average volume is about 3 million shares a day, so there's opportunity there.
absolutely. And I started looking at that one as well when we were starting to get some call outs in the main chat room. There's obviously a little technical resistance on that one. So as we start setting levels, I'll kind of be looking for that one to establish some sort of uptrend today and then maybe start to move back to the highs of pre-market. Probably not on the session. So it's one of those weird ones where kind of like you were saying, this would need volume to really move it up significantly. And we're not quite seeing that excitement in the pre-market. So unless that changes on the session, this might be a little bit better of a fade at the current levels.
Good thought. Well, since we're here, why don't we look at setting levels on it right away? Because I'm looking at the daily chart here, and I can see an area where definitely it had both support and resistance. I like it when that happens. Whoops, I got to get my pen going here so we can set some levels. You notice back here in April, it had support. See how it bounced off this level around 47.70, and then just back here in July, it used that pretty much as a high. So 46.68 seems to cut right through that. So I'll be watching that. I mean, that's only about $1.50 above the current price. Like Jared said, we might not get there, but it's good to have that level there. And then to the downside, well, we can certainly see the area where the price action has been previously. We have the limited highs and lows of the previous 2 days, but above that, I see back on Thursday, it looks like it gapped up and then sold off. The high of that was 43.60. So I've put a level right there so I can keep an eye on it. I notice it also cuts through again back in March here, an area where we did have some price support. So it'd be good to keep an eye on that. So I think those are the levels that I'm going to be watching on TCOM. I'll put it over here in my secondary. We'll see if it does anything. One of the others that we had talked about a little bit earlier that we can set levels on here is Kava. Like we said, sort of moved up quite aggressively a couple of days ago. We're sort of selling off. It might very likely be inside to this day, which means that if I go back here on the daily chart, I got to go back quite a ways. I'm pretty sure we've been higher than this, haven't we? No, this is all-time highs. This is all-time highs.
All-time highs.
So I've got no other levels to
Mhm.
set. So let me go in. We're going to zoom in on a 60-minute chart and see, do I have any levels here? And I don't really, right? Even as I zoom in, this orange line, I'll remind you, is my point of control where most volume has traded. And it's way up here at 124. So this area we're in right now, despite the fact that we sort of pushed through it aggressively back a couple of days ago, didn't have a lot of volume in that space, which means I'm probably going to want to watch here for the drop around 112. I'm looking at where it's had a high 112 and a quarter. I'll get advance notice here with my level at 112.28. So we'll see what happens on Kava. Again, I don't have a huge hope it's going to move aggressively today, but better ready. Yeah, I'm ready now. Should it actually move? So we'll see what happens with that. All right, going back to the daily chart, we're going to have to look at some of our usuals. I'm going to start with maybe Tesla. We didn't really talk about Tesla today, but it's always been giving us good moves so far in the pre-market. Once again, right, it's got decent motion, so we'll see what happens with it. Pretty limited in range over the last couple of days. We're still inside these candles. So again, yesterday's low gives me an area to keep an eye on. It's 211.01. So definitely that whole dollar 211 is a place to watch. If we get lower than that, well, I'm probably going to look around here 206, right? 206.16. You can see at my level because we had whoops, sorry, 206.16. Is that what I said? Anyways, because we had a low just below that back here at the beginning of August, and we'll see if we get lower. That $200 level, you can see how we actually pushed below it at the beginning of the month and then managed to come back. I mean, the whole dollars are always relevant on Tesla, so worth keeping an eye on. We'll see if we get there, and then you can already see the levels that I have previously marked on the top side for Tesla, 225, 230, 234. Again, a little aggressive to think it's going to get there today, but we'll keep an eye on it just in case. Nvidia, we've also talked about. I've already set levels. We are definitely trading in a range here over the last week and a half. So, definitely going to watch that range. I'll just put a level here to keep an eye on. The low we had is 123.10, so I put my level at 123.30 to give myself advance notice on that. Again, that's the big range we set back last Thursday. And then to the top side, the high we've got out of this range was yesterday when we managed to hit the 131.26 but couldn't hold it. So that gives me a good $8 range to play with, and we'll see if Nvidia does anything fun. My good buddy AMD, I can't ignore AMD. It's been selling off a little more, right? Definitely this is more of a downside lean to the chart over the last few days. If I look at it as a 60-minute chart, you can see, right, it's sort of been selling down. A lot of the volume, though, sits above the current price at the 157 level. So I'm definitely looking to see what it's going to do. However, if we break out the downside, yesterday's low was the 148.90, which I already have on my chart. If we get below that, I think we've got lots of room to move downwards, and you can see I've already got a level set at 145.42. So I'll just hold that, and we'll see what happens on AMD. That's about it for the interesting ones. We mentioned Paramount. Like I said, I don't expect much out of that. You can maybe take a look at it. I already have a level set at 11.01. We're trading below that at $10 and 1080 range right now. You can see the point of control here, right, by that orange line. It's a lot lower. A lot of the volume traded down here at $10.30. So I'll definitely be watching sort of the bottom area where we got some support here. Maybe 10.20 is where I'll put that. I'll put that level 10.20. Yeah. There we go.
That's approximately where the original discussion for the bid came in. So it coincides with that volume signature. If we're seeing that news kind of get reallocated and repriced into the market, that would be an ideal target for selling. So perfect.
There you go. Excellent. Okay. So we got the right level set. We just have to see if Paramount actually moves, gets the volume, and does anything interesting. By the way, when I always talk volume, but the reality is order flow is as important. The difference between the meeting, you could get a lot of volume, but if they're in big blocks, right? You got a lot of big blocks of stock selling, hundreds of thousands or millions of shares. That's not going to give you order flow you can actively trade. Most of the time, really you can just rely on the volume because you've got a lot of big and small orders in there, which gives you what you need. Occasionally, something like Paramount could sell with blocks, right? Because you're not getting that active volume. Things like Tesla, Nvidia, Apple, right? You never really have to worry about that because there's just enough retail traders and smaller transactions happening that you're going to get the order flow when you see the volume. Something at Paramount, you got to be more attentive to, how is it trading, right? Am I seeing the time and sales, the level 2 move very actively so that I know that I've got good trading opportunities and good smooth price action. All right, so that's Paramount and how I would be watching it. I think I'm out of stuff, guys. What else should we set levels on? Are we looking at anything that I haven't covered? I'm seeing our moderators list start to come in as expected. It's got some of the stuff we've already talked about. Let's see what our friends on YouTube. What are you guys looking at?
Yeah, I'm kind of looking in the chat room. A couple traders want to take a look at JD, so we could take a quick glance at that one.
You did mention that. I should have put that up here. Okay, JD, good one to mention. So JD, yeah, really sort of bopping around here. If I look at the daily chart over the last while, it doesn't really give me any good levels that I, from looking at it. Maybe right here, sort of through the top area where clearly it had some resistance around 27.30. I can see a number of days in July where it hit it. Recently it sort of just pushed through that, so I'm not sure if it's going to have a lot of relevance. Certainly we have the high and low of yesterday, right, which is below the active price. That I can keep an eye on. I'm going to go zoom in here a little bit on a 60-minute chart, see if it tells me anything different. As I zoom out, I can see the that point of control for the price certainly sits below the current price. So I might want to take an eye to where we've had the most volume, around 26.20. I like this because I can see we traded there on the 21st. We sort of bottomed there on the 22nd. We certainly pushed through that level yesterday, so might have some relevance if we get there. We'll see if we drop, if the price pauses or just pushes right through and gets to some of this area where we had most of the volume yesterday. If we zoom in yesterday, you can see most of the volume happened around 25.80. So definitely want to keep an eye around that. Maybe I'll just put it around 25.90, just above that. So I've got a little bit of awareness, right? If we get there, my level will tell me pay close attention. We'll see if the stock reacts. So that's JD. I mean, if we go to the top side, well, look, with a high of the pre-market 27.72, that already sets me a level. JD is one of these where I just it's so gappy, right? And then has these tiny range days. I don't get a lot of good levels out of it. I don't get a lot of comfort that it's going to pay attention to these levels. I'll put something here around 28. I see 28.18. It hit there back in March. 28.38. It hit there in April. It used it maybe as a little bit of support because we closed there in earlier this month. The close was 28.19, so I'll just leave my level where it is at 28.16 in case we get to the top side to give myself some notice. So there we go. I see Jose, you're mentioning Huma, Huma, Huma. What is this? Humasite Inc. The name sounds vaguely familiar. I don't know if I ever looked at this. It's a biotech. It's not a low float. They are gapping up 2%. Very low volume this morning. I don't love it. Look at this pre-market price action, right? It's got a little bit of volume, but it's in these blocks, and then we've got like zero volume in between. So don't love what it's doing, but hey, if you see something in it you like, by all means, right? Put it on your list. You could prove me wrong, and it could trade very well today. So all right, that's the levels. Those are the levels I want to take a look at. My list today, well, I'm going to stick with the usual. So I'm going to watch Nvidia, Tesla, AMD. For my secondary list, I'm going to keep an eye on Kava, maybe TCOM just for fun. And JD, actually, you guys mentioned it. It's probably a good target. So be absolutely worth keeping an eye to see if it's going to do anything interesting. So that's my list. Jared, maybe you can take a look at what our other moderators are trading and give us a rundown of that.
Well, sorry.
Yeah.
Before that, we're still waiting for a few more mods. but this might be a good time to beg for some likes because we have almost 600 people here and we're only at 175 likes.
Oh, man, don't make me beg. I don't. You
Yeah.
know,
Gotta beg. Like you
we
gotta
we
I
beg.
love
mean, we
you.
we
Hopefully, you love us back. Just yeah, hit the thumbs up
we
if you
put
can
on
spare a click.
we put on a fresh face. We calm collectively walk through the market, the trade ideas, the plans, the offerings. I mean, it's just hammering all this great information, and we can't even get those simple likes to come in. It's just sadness.
I like that.
The
Just
begging
shame
comes
them.
from sympathy. So,
There you go. All right. Yeah, like
um,
exactly. Kyle, we even did our hair for you. So yeah,
yeah,
it's
yeah, it takes a while, at least an
help.
hour for the collective hair approach.
You know, there's a lot of polishing going on. So the anyways, if
First,
nothing, do it
first
for the bald
shine, second shine, buffer, re-wax, reapply. There's a lot to it.
brother. Indeed. Thank you,
Um,
Nav. I appreciate that. All right.
Okay, I
Maybe
think
now
we
we've got a
shamed them
few
enough
more
for now.
mods.
so let's see. There is one more call out. Maybe Peter could
Oh,
take a quick glance at it.
sure.
SMCI just sold off heavily, and it's kind of
SMC.
hitting
Oh,
all the
wow.
semis at the same time. So whatever that caused that selling, we might see some sympathy selling if it's a bigger effect across the semis.
Yeah, is this
So that's a really big drop. Um,
yeah, was that like a single order or something? That's a $50 drop here on this 1 minute candle. $60 drop really. So
let's
that's
see.
yikes.
We're getting we're getting word that maybe there's some book cooking that might be implied on this one, but I need to
Book
confirm
cooking.
that. Yeah,
Uh-oh.
books are hot. Let's see.
Yeah, well, the
That's
SMCI has always been a tough one to trade because the spread tends to be high. I mean, the pre-market is not a good indicator, but we're working on a $2.50 spread, so you know that like you've got a big multi-dollar gap, and even after the market opens, it doesn't usually go less than about 40 cents or so on average. So yeah, just be careful. If I know a lot of people like to trade this because we go back in the daily, right? We can't deny like it had a lot of excitement earlier this year as we sort of ran up here significantly from the $300 level up over 1,000, and everybody's all excited about it. But you can see it sort of settled down over the last little while, and now we're sitting at this $500 level. So it's definitely moving right now, though. Certainly with a lot more energy than it had a little earlier. We'll see if this volume continues. So good call out to you guys out there, and yeah, see what happens. Thanks, Jared.
no problem. All right, let's take a look at our moderators list here as I start to fully flesh out. So we have typically a lot of the same tickers. Couple of standouts here are going to be obviously Nvidia, Tesla, and Kava on pretty much all of our mods lists at some point. Avi's watching Nvidia, Tesla, AMD, Thor sticking to the index, ETF, SPY, and QQQ. Brendan adding Mara, so just adding a little bit of the Bitcoin volatility that we saw off of MicroStrategy, so that's ideal. Not seeing a ton of our secondary names on our mods list, so they might not be as impressed with the small volume signatures and gaps that we're seeing this morning. Let's see if we have any additional names here. No, I think that's it. We're sticking with the short list today. One thing that I did want to mention,
Talking to me.
yesterday we had a little bit of interesting trade in the energy sector. We started gapped up on a lot of the kind of hinting of news towards some of the conflict of interest with energy, crude specifically. Not every stock faded, but a lot of the stocks on the watch list yesterday were actually like gap fills. They filled up the gaps from the original move. So that's going to be kind of nice to monitor moving forward, whether or not those stocks start to hold those ranges or actually come back in even further. So definitely interested in those.
Well, yeah, and like Jared, we were talking about yesterday, you can't force those trades, right? You got to wait for them to happen, right? The setup is there, but it's got to actually occur, and for you to be able to take advantage of that effectively. So, good mention. All right, guys, we are heading towards the open. I want to remind you again, like Jared was saying, 10 o'clock. We do have an economic event, right? We have the numbers coming out for consumer confidence, and we don't know whether they're going to impact the market, but you need to know that that's happening in case you're in a trade or looking for a trade around 10. That's the next and frankly the only economic event that we still have to go today, so keep that in mind. We do have Brian and Thor. They're going to be trading live, and like I mentioned earlier, don't forget 10:30. We're going to have Mike as our special guest. He's going to be talking about some of the common factors we found in successful traders from the Peak Capital Bootcamp. We've been running that bootcamp for a couple of years now, 3 times a year for the last few years, and we've run thousands of traders through it and found that there are some common traits. He's going to talk a little bit about what he learned, what works, what doesn't, and give you some insight there. So stay tuned for that. And like we begged earlier, just give us a thumb. We'd love it. Appreciate it. Just click on the button, and it helps us out. And when the boss gets back from his excursion out to the desert, he can see that he wants to keep us employed. So I'd appreciate that.
Maybe less
All right.
begging and more demanding. Demand those legs.
Demand it? Nah, I won't demand it of them. You guys will either do it or you won't, right? Me being mean is not going to happen. Yeah, when he gets back, he'll be able to give away another laptop. So we can't exactly authorize that, nor do we have his fancy little tool to randomly generate the name. So, but laptop next week, not one this week, unfortunately. So, do it because you like us. We appreciate that. All right. Brett, have we got our live traders ready to go, or Thor and Brian queuing up in the background?
Sorry, they're not in yet. But I do have something to show our audience. I want to show them the screen.
Is it a cat?
No, I want to show them the screen that I use from you to do all the gappers lists and the charts.
Okay.
There's something hidden in the bottom right corner that's always there, and it's AMD. And I find that is just
AMD.
always there under your watch.
Yeah.
AMD's always watching Peter, as Peter is always watching AMD. They keep track of each other. They look over each other.
Yes.
Of all my screens, I do have one screen that is almost always on AMD all day. I mean, that's how I stay on top of it. So just because I'm also dating other people doesn't mean I don't pay attention.
I just found that funny, so I wanted to share that with everybody.
Okay.
You're smothering AMD, Peter. You got to let AMD breathe sometimes.
You got to let it go. Time to move on. Oh well.
No, just come back only when she's ready.
Unrequited love. I guess now I'm just a creepy old man. So, all right. I do see that. Look at this. We now have our. I love this Foursquare. We got to get like more traders on here. It does feel very Brady Bunch to me. So, this is the
if we could coordinate, we could do a heart. If we coordinate where the arms go, and everybody could draw the heart correctly.
Yeah, I gotta do the other way.
It's always the opposite of what you think, so it has to be like slightly opposite of the ratio.
We'll have to work on that.
Yeah,
lots of practice.
Hold on. Let me. I gotta get it this way. Let's see if I can. Thor, can I get there? Can I reach it? Wait. All right. All right, guys, we are 5 minutes to the market open. We're going to head it over to Brian. And Brian totally ignored that. He's like, I'm not doing it. What are you kids doing?
Brian's just not interested at all. He was just like, I'm done.
He's focused.
No love from Brian.
Of course I am.
Zero
Brian's
hearts.
already up
All right.
like $400 and something already, probably.
Now I'm just watching the price action. What's the market selling off? There wasn't really any big news.
No.
There was a little news, but the big news I think is at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, we get
So
the consumer price index. Yeah, for sure.
I think
So
that's.
I'm going to wish you guys a good open. Jared and I are cutting
Thank
out.
you.
Take care. Trade smart, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Cheers. Have
two
a
out of
good.
3 for sure on that.
Yeah, hopefully our likes came up on the YouTube channel. This was a rockstar couple of guys leading you into the market open here. So
yeah, I heard that we actually got permission to give away a Tesla. So
yeah.
I mean that might be fake news. I'm not entirely sure, but
Yeah, it might
I
be
was.
fake news. Yeah,
I
likely.
also
To 100 until we get to 1 million subscribers. That's the goal.
Okay,
All right.
and then
All right,
it's
so if we can get there today, people, I'm giving away a Tesla. So
yeah, we give away the Roadster.
all right.
So Cava, I'm not really keen on. It does seem to be it's trading above the VWAP, even though it's gapping down a lot. What's the news on Cava? I mean, it's had a big run up, but it's crazy.
We could give away a 1-week stay in Andrew's condo.
There you go. He's not using it now.
I mean, yeah, it's available. I mean, you just have to get there today, and you have to leave by Sunday.
So there you go. Anyway, I guess some accounting issues with SMCI. Apple dropped their date probably for their rollout of their next iPhone, September 9th. Yeah, PDD don't generally like to trade things on the second day after a news event. See, I kind of just took it right off. Yeah, it's literally just flatlining right now. You know, you don't get, like I said, I don't usually like the price action on the second day. Definitely more of a challenge to trade that. So Qs have kind of held this S3 level. Are you in a trade yet,
Brian?
Or?
No, not yet. But it is interesting because we do have sellers to the top side on the ES for sure. But we also have some really large buyers to the downside. So, and very far away from the price. So it really feels like somebody is already waiting to scoop up shares significantly lower than this. I mean, I guess it could be a short cover, but seems a little too big for that. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens with this news. We are in a lower range today than we were yesterday, technically. So if we were going to go short, we would actually want to be a little higher than this. And we're not in a horrible spot to actually pick up a long. So let's just kind of see how the price action opens. And I think the market could be a little choppy. Our big news is going to be at 10. So I would kind of expect our directional move to happen after the opening range sets. So around 10. So just kind of keep that in mind. The 30-minute ORB could be the play today, because once it breaks the higher and low of the 30 minutes after 10, good chance we'll have ourselves a bit of a directional move there.
Right on. So here we go. We have 10 seconds to the open, people. So good luck, everybody. Not crazy about anything yet, so I'm probably just gonna wait. Let's see what comes.
Ding, ding, ding. I'm kind of hoping the market will squeeze a little bit before that news, and then I can short it from like up higher, like SPY, like around like 50, 562 or something. But maybe we get ourselves along in the morning to get up there.
Kava bouncing, or at least coming back up a bit here. Tesla's breaking out, Nvidia's breaking out, AMD everything's kind of breaking out here.
Kind of had a little bit of trouble getting a good bid to come in on the SPY and the Qs there, just right at the gate. Not that we're like going to sell necessarily, but we're kind of still trying to find that buyer. Haven't quite found them yet.
Okay, that pop sold a bit, and Nvidia came right back up.
Buyer coming in a little bit now, not a lot of volume.
Just remember what AMD did yesterday. We had that big pop at the open, and then the sellers stepped in. So again, I'm a little reluctant to chase this AMD and Tesla. Kava. Here goes Kava's dropping. Again, we're just trading in a range right now with Nvidia. It's still above the VWAP though, at least on Bookmap. Tesla's still got lots of orders to the upside.
Apple's kind of down into an interesting spot right now. I grabbed a couple shares long on Apple right off of 225.50. If it flushes, I'll get out of it at a new low.
SMCI is pretty much get some buyers just recovering from that sell-off. Yeah, big drop on AMD and then snap back up again. Crazy. Nvidia is just threatening to go red or green here, I should say.
Yeah, I had a pretty good amount of volume come in on that buy there.
Yeah.
What's this level it's running into right now, though? Oh, this is Arth. Ooh, monthly selling range. Be interesting to see what it does here. If it buys through, it could be cool. Order book actually looks a little weak on it right now.
Well, certainly, probably was a good place to go short right at PDC.
Things seem like
done
they're
short at
starting to sell a little bit
PDC.
more.
Kind of knew that was going to be an area.
These definitely have some downside room in them. There's a good buyer trying to support the price on Nvidia right here, but the order book kind of brought in some orders a little lower, so it can definitely do that. But there's a really nice buyer trying to get. They're pretty aggressive.
Hmm.
Not doing very well with it though. A lot of
Yeah.
absorption here. AMD is a hard one for me right now. AMD, I would prefer to short AMD being in a lower range and a selling range on its daily. So it might be a nice short up around 152.50 if it can get there. It's a really nice spot. I'd have trouble taking it long now just because I don't really have a huge expectation for a continuing long on it. So I don't think I'd get to my profit target if I did.
Yeah,
So,
I'm actually taking a little bit of AMD long, just because it looks like there's a lot of orders to the upside. You could be right, Thor. I mean,
the VPA right now looks like a lot of these are trying to roll. I went ahead and cut that Apple position. Actually a break even on that one because an order came out to the downside. I don't think we're ready yet.
let's just see here. What's AMD going to do right here?
Crystal was talking about identifying absorption. So one of the things a lot of us utilize, Crystal, which I really think is the lifeblood of like being a retail trader for me, is we call it like volume and price analysis, right? And so people use it for varied things, tape reading and other things, but basically what I'm looking at is the amount of volume that's coming in versus how far the price moves. So if what I notice is we have a lot of buying coming in, but the price isn't going anywhere, you can kind of read the pressure there and understand that in order for this not to go somewhere with that amount of volume, there must be a seller there, right? So you can start to react to these contrary moving forces.
Qs are selling off. I got out of AMD. That was a bad drop there.
I should have been watching Tesla. Tesla just did a perfect R move.
Oh, yeah, look at that, eh? Yeah, Tesla made a nice drop there for sure.
Amazon? We can look at Amazon math.
We're really trading range bound here.
I actually like Amazon potentially for a long. Let me look at its order book. At least range-wise. I'd like it for a long more than I'd like it for a short, although we are just under, as we're like teetering on the edge of the breakdown range on this one. So if you found a buyer here, it's a great spot to find a buyer. let me see. Order book is red. It's been selling really hard already today. We've got some big orders to the top side, though. That's interesting. It's still selling too much, so it needs to find its buyer, which it looks like we're kind of in the right area, but I haven't seen enough to convince me that we found a buyer on it just yet.
Qs and SPY just keep selling off through S3.
It's a lower range day, so Qs can do a trending breakdown today. Technically, we could sell off all day. So
Yeah.
we'll just have to see. We should find, if we're gonna find a buyer, our buy the dippers should come in somewhere around like 19,430 on the NQ. So for the Q's equivalent would be somewhere like 471.40
Right.
to here. I mean, you could find a buyer anywhere between here and 471.40. This is where we'd be looking to see if that buyer comes in. Don't keep in mind we have news at 10 o'clock, and that news is probably going to be what make the market go directional. So, and if you were gonna put the market into a spot where you could buy, this is about as good of a spot as it could be. The only problem is if we go much lower than this, things get really sketchy really fast. We start going into some kind of gappy looking territory. Yeah, I can do that. Let's see here. I don't have an Instagram, Hike. Unfortunately, I only Brian has an Instagram, but it's only for fun pictures. I don't have Instagram at all. I only have an X or a Twitter, whatever they call this thing. So I'm at Thor Young, easy to find there. But I can't keep up with all the social media stuff. So
No.
I don't do that. But if you get Brent, do me a favor, buddy. Could you do me a screen share on mine over? I wanted to show a couple people what I was talking about on that Amazon look there.
You're all good.
So thank you, sir. So we were talking about this here. So when we're looking for areas like on Amazon here on the SPY or the Qs, when we're looking for areas to buy, we want to kind of be in the lower end range of the chart down in here where we start looking for buyers. So, but what I was saying about it not looking like it was selling and not being willing to bounce is if you look here on this is Amazon's order book, and it's a thermal view of the order book. So you can see we still have large orders deposited to the downside on Amazon. And right now we're selling significantly more than we're buying. And if you look to the top side, notice how we lack orders up here. On the book, we kind of call this a void, right? So it doesn't look like anyone's buying a lot, because if they were buying, we would have more orders here, right? So because buyers turn into sellers. So because we're lacking orders here, it doesn't look like it's quite ready to bounce yet, even if it wants to. It still looks like it looks like we're more likely to sell to the downside with the elevated selling and the orders being put to buy lower. So our excess is to the downside, and we're getting a lot of selling volume. So this is kind of what gives you that thought, right? So what we're looking for now is to see if absorption occurs at a kind of a closer level. So we're looking to see if now every time we have a green dot, are we seeing the price lift? Every time we see a red dot, does the price stagnate? So, and like I said, this is the spot where we should find a buyer. And notice we have been finding a buyer. So the question is now, do we build enough orders to the top side to trigger the market makers' algorithms to run the supply levels to the top side? And that's what we're waiting for now, is for some kind of a volume initiative to let us know they're going to start moving the top side orders. Right now we don't have that. So with the extra selling and the dense order book to the downside, it continues to look like it wants to sell more than buy. So,
I think
there you go.
that deserved a few likes, right, Thor?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, just got some valuable insight there.
So this is the kind of stuff in the BBT room. We're just saying
Mhm.
for everybody out there, this is the kind of stuff we're getting. If you come and hang out with us in the BBT room, this is the kind of
Right
analytics
on.
you get on basically any ticker you want, anytime you want. All you gotta do is ask.
I'm short Nvidia. Ooh, there we go. Nice drop there.
See what? Watch this.
As we go through a pool of liquidity here, just going to cover some at 124. And the Q's helped out with another leg lower there. Tesla heading lower. Yeah, I took this trade while you were talking, but you can see it rejecting right at the VWAP. There was a buyer there at just around 124.80, but as soon as it rejected the VWAP, sort of made a bit of a lower high there, and then it just rolled right over. So now we're getting a bounce back on the Qs and the SPY, so I'm out of this trade. But at least it got me almost back to green here.
Definitely in our
After the
spot.
after that AMD debacle, which I should have listened to Thor.
Yeah, this is the spot. Now we'll just have to see what happens. We're still a little early, I think, it'll be interesting to see if the market starts taking a bullish, a buying position ahead of the news. But like you just saw, so that we saw, if you're looking at the, let me pull up Qs. We just saw a nice buyer come in there.
Yeah,
He actually
both the
selling.
SPY and the Qs. The Dow actually is green on the day.
Hey,
Believe it or
Brian,
not.
Thor.
Yes.
I'm getting questions in the YouTube chat. I know we answered it in the pre-market show. This is why you should watch the pre-market show every day. But questions about why the 10 a.m. news is so important on consumer confidence. Why are we waiting for that?
So I think I'll hit one of the tools that's available to y'all very well is on tradingterminal.com/calendar. Obviously I'm a little biased because I work here, but I actually do use a lot of different news aggregators, and this is one of my favorites, and they've been doing a lot of hard work on this. So if you go to tradingterminal.com and you go in the middle of it, it has an economic calendar, and it actually gives you an impact rating for each of the different events there. So if you're not really up to date on which events actually make you do the thing, you know what I mean? We actually have an impact rating that's on there. So you can see at 10 o'clock we have the consumer confidence, and it has an impact rating of high, so 3-star. So this is an event that we're going to be really paying attention to, right? Because we want to see when that consumer confidence report comes in. That's most likely going to make the market move directional. Stocks move on catalysts, right? The market moves on news. News is a catalyst, right? So when the news comes out, and it not only will stocks move, but everything else will move. Also, I'm long SPY right now off of 472, and that was a really nice bounce there.
Yeah, nice bounce. Yeah, we really got a turn and burn there right at what was with the Qs there. Kind of a double bottom on the SPY. Held that level. Man, V reversal on Nvidia.
Yeah, I went ahead and I got long on the SPY in DOS, and then I got long on in Ninja, which is my futures platform. I got long on NQ.
I'm long on Nvidia. Wow. Okay, here we go. Just
Yeah, good long.
walking up
Good
here.
job.
Yeah, got long
Maybe a
off that
nice.
bounce on the VWAP.
See, and we just had to be a little patient, just wait for things to come and give us a good
Yeah,
spot.
Qs are ripping him. SPY is back at market high day.
For the
Qs.
record, YouTube, I told everybody where the buying range was, where we were going to look to
Yeah,
find that buyer. Did I not? Where did we find that buyer?
you did, buddy. Yeah,
Just saying. Told you
yeah.
exactly where to look for him.
You said 471.40-ish, and we did get down 471.70-ish. So close enough for government work, as they say.
Yeah. Yep. I said anywhere between the that around
Yeah,
as low as 471.40, as high as this 472.50. Anywhere in that range, we were looking for a buyer.
good,
So
great call.
that'll work.
See, look at that. Look at that. Look at the value of just being here today.
You got that. You got profit up here. We got
Yeah.
our Tesla giveaway. Oh wait, I gotta stop saying that. When we get to 1 million, come on, people. Let's like, share, subscribe.
Okay, how about
Let's get to 1
I'll
million.
give away a Ferrari. Here we go.
Ferrari, California. No, I got to be careful. I think there was like somebody that I think like ended up like suing like some company because they like won a sweepstakes, and then like, but it was like a little
Yeah,
false advertising.
wasn't that like a Harrier jet?
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
Pepsi.
yeah. It was for
It was
for a
Pepsi.
Harrier Pepsi, for like a Harrier
Yeah,
jet. Yeah.
yeah.
So I gotta be careful. I still like the
Okay,
giveaway Andrew's condo one. I still think is a winner.
just selling some Nvidia here, 126. So we break on through to the other side.
Bringing on through to the other side.
Little California jam in there.
Come on, let's go. Come on, Q's.
Okay,
Let's do
sell.
this.
Gonna sell some more. Just take some
Still
profits
holding.
here. 126.40. Brandon's with me on this one. We've gone green on Nvidia, back high of day here.
I'm gonna go ahead and put a 50. I'm gonna go ahead and start trailing the 50 on this beauty.
127 looks possible now. There's an order there. It's a big order. 127, 10,000 shares. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. There we go. It's lobster day.
Yes, sir. All right, just sell some more. Just getting pretty extended with this wick, this candle. 2680.
See if we get another push or if we get a pullback. Either way, I'm going to make a few $100s on this trade.
Nice one.
Yeah, I got my target set on, which will be 800. And if I hit my, if I'm trailing the 50, if it comes and hits my trail, I still make 250 on it. So either way, I'm loving life. And I'm still holding my Q's position on my DOS as well. So I'm in at 472 on that position, and I'm holding for a break of pre-market, previous day's close.
Okay. Getting ready to exit some more here. 127.
We went and hit the liquidity on the downside. So our topside range technically on Qs is quite spectacular. This could end up being a very nice very nice topside movement, especially if the market news comes in favorable in 5 minutes.
There we go. 127. Still holding a bit. We've got a lot of orders to the upside here. 130, 131, 132.
Come
There's a
on.
long way from where we are right now. So it might be a challenge getting there. We got to get through R3 and R4. The order book is really thinned out here on Nvidia.
Boom. Target hit.
Wow, nice, nice comeback.
Very nice. Very nice. I use a trail on this account because I have a trailing threshold I have to deal with. So I do use a trail on this because I don't. If I'm like at 800 and it comes all the way back to 0, it kind of messes with that a little bit. So in this instance, I prefer not to. So like on my QQQ position in DOS, I've just got that one on an all or nothing basically. But this is great. I could have done that on this one, obviously. Boom. Winner.
Aria, one of our traders in the room, got Nvidia as well.
Nice.
Got that Nvidia move. Good trade. Brendan got that Nvidia trade as well.
Nice, Brendan. 790. Brendan has been, for everyone out there on the YouTube, we have a moderator, Brendan, in here now that weekly is doing onboarding sessions like to help you configure your platforms and put all your stuff together. So like some other just added value that y'all can get while you're in here is actually having someone who will help you with your tech and making sure, help you with your hotkeys and all that stuff. So we got our dude Brendan in here doing that now, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah, nice.
All right, everybody, begging time. If you happen to grab a little bit of that bounce on Nvidia, NQ, or anything else we called from where we called it out, help us out. You know what to do. Throw us a little thumbs up in there. We really appreciate it. Don't forget to share on your social media. We're really trying to grow this channel and show its impact and the quality that way we bring from Jared doing engineering the markets in the morning through our pre-market show, which is I can't find any pre-market show that I think really truly rivals that.
Yeah.
And then now you got me and the prophet here telling you literally when to buy. So I mean, I just don't know what else you could possibly want from your dear.
The thumbs up are cheap.
And so am I. Oh wait, that wasn't what I was supposed to say.
Why do people keep asking if we have Instagram? Instagram is it's more of a social platform, isn't it?
Yeah, I found out that I'm old because I'm getting old because I basically only have Twitter and a Facebook. So that means because that means I'm old. So but my Facebook I don't use for trading, so it's just my ex. Facebook's just where I can look at pictures of my kids and stuff like that.
Yeah, me too. I mean. So if somebody is on X and they're or in Instagram and they're pretending to be one of us, it would not be us. It would be someone else trying to take your money. From some other country.
Yeah, I hear that, Ben. I do so much of the stock trading thing and hanging out with you people. I think I don't do the social media as much too as it's you got to get that blue light off of you. It's I can only stare at a screen for so long a day. So I just and then we have the bots too, like always copying your accounts and trying to solicit people for money and dealing with that. It's just kind of like
And that is why we ask for $1 to sign up. Just keeps the bots are cheap. They don't want to spend $1.
Sorry, the buck deal is halted for right now.
Oh, the buck deal is
It'll probably
halted.
come back.
Oh, okay.
It'll come back probably.
It will come back. But what have we got now for joining for a deal? I think isn't it $7 or something like that for a week?
Stand by. 1 sec.
Okay.
The buck
Oh, we did
stopped
have.
here. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. I guess. I guess the Burning Man buck special is off now till
I
Andrew
never
gets
wanted to
back.
go to Burning Man, and then I heard about free pancakes. I was like, you know what? I'm interested.
Well, honestly, I mean, I went 2019. Apparently, talking to people that have gone for many years said 19 was one of the best
So,
years.
guys, newsflash. The
Newsflash.
consumer confidence numbers are out. They're a little better than expected. 100.9 was the expected. 103.3, which is actually above the previous number. So some strong consumer confidence, which sometimes drives the market down. Not seeing a huge
Yeah.
reaction at this point, but you can see the volume that came in on the SPY and a little bit on the Qs. So there you go. Slightly better than expected consumer confidence.
Thank you, sir.
I think
Here you go. Get breaking
I really
news
missed the, like,
as well here.
breaking news.
Peter does have the breaking news diddly doodly thing.
I know. You should have done the full hit.
Should-
Yeah.
Surprisingly,
the order book really didn't lean out at all during that news event.
No.
Normally before like a really impactful, like where everyone's really worried about it, the order book goes clear. So it really does show that we did have some solid anticipatory buying that came in ahead because people felt pretty good about their positions going into the news because the book stayed pretty well structured. So if the news is in, I mean, we were kind of talking about being in a good range to, a good spot to buy if it got a little bit lower, and we were. So it'll be really interesting to see which way we break now. If we, could be a trending move from this point. Lots of range in the top side of the market today, so it can easily go higher. It can go lower too, obviously. I learned that from Jared.
Tesla's well, AMD. I was gonna say I just sort of anecdotally from what I've been hearing, it sounds like I would have bet that number would have been higher, or at least a positive number. So I don't think that really consumer confidence really has an impact on these rate cut decisions too much. Everybody's debating now whether we're going to get one rate cut or if we're going to get two. Two being a 50-point move versus a 25-point move. The market, I think, is hoping for 50 points, obviously. What's our so you can look at the CME Fed watch tool and see what the odds are right now for the September meeting. 22 days away. We've got 30% thinking we're going to get 50 points.
So after the news,
69%.
When the news came out, Brian, we really didn't get any volume to come in at all.
No.
So that normally, like, you would have kind of expected some kind of an initiation there or something like that. So that was a very muted response. I didn't see a lot of buying coming. I didn't see a lot of selling come in either. But, it was kind of very interesting with just kind of how calm that reaction was. So just kind of keep that in mind. It may not be time for us to move yet. I don't know what we're looking for, but I do have to run because I have an appointment I have to get to. So
Right.
I wanted to just say thank you everyone out in YouTube land for making this a fun morning for us, and we do appreciate all those thumbs up. Thank you. Got us over 550 today, so we appreciate you. I should be back on. I think Andrew's at Burning Man all week, so unless there's another mod that wants to hang out, I'll see you guys tomorrow morning, and the Prophet and I'll lead you through another fun morning of trading. Otherwise, I hope you all have a great one. Keep it green, and my brother, always a pleasure trading with you.
Yeah, fun. All right, thanks for hopping on again, Thor. Appreciate it always, and
For sure.
always great trading with you. Thanks,
Of
everyone.
course.
As always. So, what do we got happening now? Now, as I mentioned, sort of 30%, 70%, two cuts, one cut, still sitting in that general vicinity for odds on favorite. So one cut still on the table for sure. Not a lot of stuff going on right now. Looks like the Qs are pulled back a little bit. Maybe some topping action here. We'll see if we can break out of this range and go green on the Qs. Same with the SPY. SPY looks like it's got a bit of buying here. What's going on with Amazon? Amazon's struggling today. Apple is flat. Netflix, bit of a breakout there, looking like it's heading back to that 700 level that we kind of rejected from about 1 week ago today. Got up to 711. So Nvidia's gone red again. So I still have a number. I just have a few shares left. I was hoping for another move up here, but kind of looks like its volume's really dropping off on it. So it's probably not going to make that move that I was hoping. So I'm thinking I'm going to get out of it here. I'll just hang on to it. If it stays above the VWAP on Nvidia, I'll actually put in a hard stop. 125.85. Okay, it's bouncing back a bit. Q's bouncing back a bit again. We're still above the 9 EMA on the 2-minute chart. Tells me we're still holding this uptrend. Same with the Q, same with the SPY, I should say. Looks like we're on the verge of breaking out on the SPY here. Trying anyway. Seems to be a seller right around 560. There goes Tesla. Tesla's heading lower. Tesla's got an S4 level, 207.60. Yeah, volume really drying up here on the indexes as well. Doesn't mean we can't push higher, but just seems like the volume is really dropping off here, really drying up. Doesn't make for great momentum moves, but this. I'm just watching SPY and Qs right now to see if we can break out of this break out of this trading range. Qs are making a bit of an ascending triangle here, so it does seem like it wants to go. Okay, I got long some TQQ because we broke out of this range here. Volume, we're getting some good volume. Qs are just looking like they're going to go green here. So we're right at PDC. As soon as we started to make that move up, that was what I was watching for. Okay, not surprised we got a little bit of a stall there at PDC. Wow, Nvidia's breaking out. Should have traded Nvidia too. SMCI has really managed to crawl its way out of the basement there. Okay, second attempt to get through PDC on the Qs. Another rejection there. SPY's rolling over, not liking that. Did try to kind of broke out to a high and then rejected. That's never a good sign. Just going to reduce my size on TQQ. Just because we don't seem to, again, volume's kind of dropping off here, so still in an uptrend, so still going to hold to see if we can make a breakout here on Qs. Still holding that 9 EMA on the 2-minute chart, which I always like to watch. Dow is still solidly in the green. AMD's making a bit of a move here as well. Okay, so we're back to PDC again on the Qs. Let's see if we can do it this time. Tesla continues to leak. It's at S4 right now. There is some liquidity on Tesla to the downside still, so just filled a fairly big order there at what area? Around 207.50. No, about 208, I should say. All right, there isn't much happening right now that I can see. Otherwise, other than Tesla continues to show some weakness here. All right. Well, Qs again. We spent a little bit too much time trying to break through this level here, so I don't know if we're going to be able to do it. I think buyers get frustrated. Long holders getting a little frustrated here, maybe. Qs or the SPY definitely rejected going higher.
Hello again, Brian.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, it's as you said, fairly quiet out there. We're definitely moving within a pretty tight range. The Qs are making another attempt here to see if they can get back to
Yeah,
the close yesterday.
I'm still holding half of that position, but again, it's pretty close to my break even. So don't.
Yeah, we're not seeing.
Yeah, we're just not seeing any. Volume's pretty light right now, and yeah,
Yep.
PDC just seems to be elusive.
Market volume's about half of what it normally is, I'm seeing. The only thing that's sort of above average is Tesla, that's trading at about 130% RVOL, 128% right now. And not to the good side, right? Tesla's the one thing that sort of moved directionally, is down here at 107. So we'll see what it does. But yeah, I'm watching my friend AMD. Not doing much. Definitely in a tight range here, trapped between where the previous day close was and the current VWAP. The Nvidia is just hanging around yesterday's close. It's quiet.
Yeah.
So if you're out there and you're frustrated because you haven't got a lot of good trades, this is not the time to be forcing them, right? If you see a setup that meets your criteria, by all means. But if you don't be afraid to sit and just watch. Maybe you'll be doing that all day. Maybe you'll only be doing that for the next 10 minutes. You never know. But again, I'd rather see, sometimes the best trade is no trade. So
Yeah, and I'm getting out of TQQ. I just don't. It just doesn't look like it's going anywhere. Certainly, PDC is the um, seems to be the bugaboo right now, and I don't see the bugaboo. It's a new technical trading term.
yeah.
I'll have to add that into my book, my next edition, the bugaboo level.
Bugaboo level. We just had an IPO open. JBDI opened. Low volume, though, so not a very exciting IPO, but it did just open a minute ago.
I do have one swing trade on this week. So far, looking okay. It's snow. I'm short the 115 puts right now, and SMCI is looking like it's going to get right back to pre-market levels.
Mm-hmm.
So SMCI getting back all its loss, traded down under 500 there at one point. 495.
Yeah, it was quite a drop pre-market on SMCI. It's like you said, it's just been slowly recovering ever since. But like I said, though, careful if you're looking at it. Spread is sitting at 98 cents right now, so big range, right? You got to overcome that spread just to make money, and it's up as high as it's now $1.60. So tough to make that profitable, in my opinion. We have no chart. There we go. AMD back at 150, closed at 149.99 yesterday. It's been flirting with that sort of all morning. Interesting, in the pre-market show, we drew a level 151.05. And as I look at the chart, look at twice it bounced off of that at 9:56, 9:55 or so, and then again at just quarter after 10. So we got our levels set properly. Certainly was an area that provided some support and resistance, actually. Tesla may be trying to reverse here. Got a little bit of volume at this level. Didn't really get the exhaustive volume that I like to take a reversal, but at least Tesla's not going down at the moment. Spy the cues.
There is still some big orders here at 206 and under there. So I'm not, but it does. But we did get to S4 here on Tesla, so it's possible. Oh, there's finally that. Damn. Finally, we did break out on the Qs. We've gone green.
Yeah. There's that move you were waiting for, Brian. Patience.
I know.
Patience.
Yeah. Well, it was. I just don't like it when stocks stay and try to break through an area a couple times, and then the SPY started to roll over. Everything was telling me that maybe we were going to reject there. So that's okay. That's okay. I can't be right all the time.
Well, it's a healthy way to look at it. Look at AMD. It keeps hitting that close and then bouncing right back up here.
Okay,
Guys, stay tuned. In a couple minutes, we've got Mike queued up, ready to join us. Going to talk about some of what we've seen at P Capital Trading, and you should get some good insight from that. So he's going to come on in just a couple of minutes. AMD just did finally move up through that 151.05 level I've been watching. Let's see if it can hold it. Notice Nvidia also popped up here. Didn't break through high of day that it set a little earlier, but it's trying.
Well, that's annoying, watching QQQ go break out there, but it kind of still held the 9 EMA as it was kept pulling back there. Like I said, it was a little disconcerting watching the SPY kind of lose those moving averages, which I think kind of made me think market was setting up for a leg lower after that push. But sometimes they just like to do that. They like to fool you.
Sometimes they just want to be difficult that way. Indeed.
Yep.
All right. Tesla.
Yeah, Tesla's just did a 920 there for people that like the 920 trade.
Ali is asking me if Nvidia can go to 128 today. I mean, can it? Sure. Will it? I have no idea. I'm going to wait and let the data tell me. And right now, I'm not seeing many orders sitting at 128 waiting for it. We've got about, 128. Yeah, there's no orders at 128, interestingly. There's some on the way up to it. Whole bunch of orders sitting at 130. Good couple 100,000 shares sitting at 130, but that's far away, so I have no idea. I'm just going to wait and see. Bookmap showing orders at 128, Sean? All right. I don't see any on the level 2, so there must be some orders that people have had in there for a while. Well, that's not true. I guess at 120 exactly, I see about 35, almost 36,000 shares. But it's not that much. Dimitri, you're asking about the Mountain Pass on Nvidia. Let's see. So I can tell you right away just by looking at it, it is not far enough away from neither the VWAP nor the previous day close for it to be a Mountain Pass. You really need a strong move and then a pullback from it. This is just trading in a range, right? In addition, even if you didn't mind that lack of distance, it pulled back through the level before testing. So, if you see the high of day at 9:55, see the retest at about 10:15, but it pulled back through the level, and I don't like it. It also took a little too long to do that, so I wouldn't have traded that as a Mountain Pass. And clearly in this last test, well, it went up here and matched the high of day. Did it actually set a new high by a penny? It did. It set a new high by a penny, so that would have broken my rules right there. So
just by a penny, right?
Just by a penny. 127.60 was the high it set at 9:55, and at 10:25 it got to 127.61. Well, there's my 10:30 alarm. Usually when I
Okay.
look at the change of direction. So we'll see if that happens. But 10:30 alarm also means that it's time to bring on Mike. So Brian, I will
Time to
release
bring
you to
on
go
Mike.
back into the chat room if you want to talk to anybody there.
Yeah.
Everybody in the chat room, if you want to hear Mike's words of wisdom, join us on YouTube. Just log into the YouTube because we'll be broadcasting there and see what he's got to teach us this morning. Let's see. We got Mike. Good morning and welcome.
Hey, good morning, Peter. How you doing?
I'm good. You got yourself a nice white wall behind you. You look like you're in
I
a
know.
studio.
I gotta do something now that I moved over here to Kansas City. I'm like backed into a corner. I got to get one of those wall stickers or something.
Yeah.
Like Brian has
like
that nice neon Bear Bull Traders light. So I got to do something like that. I haven't figured it out yet.
You get one of those maybe those vinyl stickers that just like stick to anything. That way you can bring it with you. You just paste it on the wall. All right.
And
well,
don't
welcome.
destroy the wall so that I got to pay the apartment complex, right?
Exactly. It's got to be something that leaves no trace when it comes down. Look, glad that you're able to make it this morning, and looking forward to hearing sort of some of your thoughts. We've been running the boot camp for about 3 years now, a little over 3 years.
Yeah, we started September 2020, so it's really we're going on our 4th year now. Boot camp number 14 this go round. So
there you go.
We're
and
13.
In that time,
I think we're 13 now.
We've run oh my god, it's a little over 1,000 people through the boot camp, and from that we've been able to gain a lot of interesting insight. I mean, obviously we've had the opportunity to interact with all of these traders and see sort of what they've done well, what they haven't done well, been able to coach them through a lot of their challenges. And I think you want to share some of that experience with everybody out there on YouTube today. So why don't I just leave you to it?
Yeah. So, hey, everybody, thanks for having me. I really do enjoy P Capital Trading and the boot camp. I've divulged a lot of my time and effort into it, but it's because Peter, John, myself, we really strive to help traders learn the techniques and the knowledge that they need to be successful and avoid the mistakes that we made. And we've seen traders succeed through boot camp. We've seen traders fall on their face in boot camp because sometimes they don't want to listen to what we're saying. But what I brought up here is kind of our philosophy of kind of how we approach boot camp. And you'll notice that we've broken it down into basically 5 kind of segments as we go. The first segment, believe it or not, actually takes place prior to boot camp starting. So this would be the time where you sign up. Right? As soon as you sign up, you get access to our website. You get access to the Essentials course, which has an observation exercise in there. And this really allows you to learn some different strategies. It allows you to mess around with your trading platforms, start to learn how to journal, and really identify a strategy to execute during boot camp. And that's the first thing that we see. The traders that do the best come into boot camp and trade one strategy. They don't try to trade 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 different strategies because the amount of work and assignments that we give you in boot camp is going to overwhelm you. One, you probably have a job, so that's taking up 40 hours of your week. And then you have almost 12 hours of classes and meetings and instruction that we're doing, plus your trading, plus now we're asking you to do all this analyzation. So it's very important that you pick one strategy. Those are the ones that we see excel the most out there. Once we get started into boot camp and we start building off the fundamentals off that strategy that you want to trade, where we see the most success is the people that focus their effort on developing that trade book and focusing on the process and understanding that, hey, I haven't been making money for the last month, 2 months. This boot camp, we have somebody that's with us. It's been training for 5 years, has been basically break even, hasn't been able to get to where they want to. And they've kind of expressed to me that this is do or die for them. But they're willing to focus on the process and not worry about whether they're going to make money or not near the end. They want to know, does this strategy that they've selected work? And we kind of go through this where we build it, then we teach you how to practice it, then we refine it, and then we teach you to execute it. And one thing I want to illustrate, especially if you are a newer trader or an experienced trader where you're like, I'm just not having success, and you're frustrated and you're beat down and you don't know if this is right with you, is the observation exercise that that I really encourage every trader that doesn't have a positive equity curve out there to do prior to coming to boot camp. Somewhere in here is my mouse, right? And what this is nothing than for about 2 weeks that you just enjoy trading the market. You get into a sim account, you look at the market, you throw away all your checklist, everything you think you know about trading, and you just listen to your gut. And you try to figure out what your subconscious mind's telling you. And you trade for 2 weeks, you gather at least 60 trades. I'll tell you, if you're doing the exercise the right way, you're going to get way more than 60 trades in 2 weeks, because all you're doing is looking to take an entry, take a screenshot of that entry and exit the trade, and then come back at the end of the day, take another screenshot and determine, hey, was my gut right or was my gut wrong? And then you kind of cluster it. And then the next step in that kind of process is you analyze it. And I got this workbook up here that we have traders go through. And this is that trader that has spent 5 years that went through this over the last 3 weeks. And after you do those trades, you look for things that are common in your trades. And you try to find variables that pop out at you. What is similar with your winners? What are similar with your losers, right? If there's something that's always appearing with a losing trade, well, that tells you when you see it, don't take the trade, right? So from there, they then generate their trading plan. And this is where we want you to start in boot camp, because when you have this document and you have this strategy that you can focus on executing, John, Peter, Lenny, Eamon, Megan, all of us can then evaluate your performance. You show us your trades, you show us what your trading plan is, and we can compare it. And just because you have a losing day doesn't mean that you had a bad trading day. It just means maybe the market wasn't with you because it was trending downward all day and you're a long trader. So this is the stuff that we look for. And again, and Peter, maybe you can give some insight as well as to what you see from it. But for me, I see the traders that are willing to push the P&L off to the side and say, hey, I'm going to listen and take a chance with you.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, the key is trusting the strategy that you set up for yourself and being able to, like you say, put that P&L aside and say, I've got to learn how to trade this effectively. Because often people think, okay, so I've got the strategy, but then I want to be smart about it. But in the smart, you end up like making random decisions that don't give you consistency when you're trading against it. And the risk that brings, of course, is that now you're doing a bunch of things to yourself, right? You're probably eroding your confidence. If it works, we're not going to be able to repeat what worked. If it doesn't work, you're just going to get angry at yourself. Well, what does happen is, win or lose, you don't have a consistent data set that you can use over time to say, let me understand how this trade works in the aggregate, so I understand what I need to do differently, again, consistently against the trade going forward to improve its effectiveness in the market. So yeah, the P&L, notice I didn't mention P&L in any of that, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter if the trade's win or lose, if they're big or small. What matters is you trade something consistently, again, in that one strategy Mike was talking about that you picked for yourself, so you can get those consistent results that, frankly, we do a lot in building on in the boot camp, so that you can sort of create that experience that you're going to use over the long term.
Yeah, definitely. It's that experience that's out there taking trades. And I think where traders have, I think it's the marketing of day trading, right? That really gets us. Marketing is out there saying, hey, this is simple. This is easy. Open up a brokerage account, put some money in there, find a trader that you like, copy their strategy, and boom, you're going to be a successful millionaire. Well, guess what? If that was the recipe for success, everybody out there would be a millionaire because it's simple and everybody wants money. The issue comes in is that we each are individual personalities, and some of us can handle risk differently than others. So maybe, and we analyze differently than others. So what you have to do is you have to find a strategy that fits well with you, and that you can trade, and that you're comfortable trading and enjoy trading. When you can find that, you can handle the wins and you can handle the losses. But how do you do that? Well, it's just like a doctor and an accountant and an engineer. You got to go to school to learn. And our school is the market. And sometimes that's a painful lesson that we have to learn when we're paying our tuition. And we want to know, do you really need to abide by a stop loss? Well, when you put in and you don't abide by the stop loss, and you're like, you know what? I could just go ahead and average into a loser and it'll come back and I'll be all right. And then it never comes back. And then your $25,000 account is no more after an 8-hour day of trading. And that's a painful thing sometimes to learn. And that's what we're trying to prevent in boot camp, is from making those mistakes, because we've seen it. Some of us have done it out there, right? Yep. They're like, hey, you do not want to do that. So that's what we try to do in Peak Capital. The other great thing about it is it's all group mentorship. You're going to find trading buddies, people that trade like you, people that are at your same level of experience that you can share and reflect. Because let's be honest, it sucks trading alone. Like, I never would have been able to do this without the Bear Bull Trader community. The losses I took, the frustration of not knowing whether what I'm doing is working or not working, and hearing from other people is what's there. And Peak Capital Trading allows you to get even into an even smaller group and cohort of people that really are striving to improve their trading. We got any questions out there? The chart, Els Trader, can you share an example of a chart? I can't see it because I got some thing over that might.
Yeah. And how that trade might look. Are they talking to us? That trade specifically, or are you talking about somebody's P&L? I always like, well, one of the things we do in bootcamp is we often share the P&L journey of other traders. And, one thing you will never see, this I can pretty much guarantee you are never going to see a P&L curve for anybody that just goes straight up and to the right. Right? I don't care who you are. Sort of like a stock, right? You'll almost never see a stock that just goes straight up. There's always going to be pullbacks and adjustments, and sometimes you might go flat for a period of time. In aggregate, obviously, you hope to get a positive P&L that moves up and to the right, but it's never a straight line journey. In fact, a lot of traders find that when they start at Peak Capital, they find their P&L actually gets worse, because you're learning a new skill. Again, think if any of you are golfers out there, I love sports analogies. Golfing is good. You change your swing, right? Often your game is worse, but with the objective of getting better over the long run. And they'll find that as you have to readjust, you're learning new skills. Once you start to, get those skills a little more in place, then you can see that P&L curve sort of reestablish itself and hopefully start to head higher. But yeah, we've got like the P&L, they're frankly as unique as the individual. I don't spend a lot of time looking at them. Like we said, it's not what matters. What matters is, how do you feel? Have you got a better confidence? Are you trading more consistently? That those results will come, but you've got to do a lot of hard work up front, and it's frustrating, right? Like Mike said, we get frustrated here within Bearable Traders and P Capital, because you go online and you'll see lots of people that say, "Oh my God, this trading is so easy. I put a bet in and I made like $1 trillion." And you know what? It happens for some people. There's no question. But it's sort of like, if you just book a bus ticket and show up in Hollywood, the 1 out of a million is going to become famous. The other 999,000, right, are out there, not being famous. And trading is the same way. You're going to run across the occasional person that it's just going to work easy and they're going to make money. Now, can they do that consistently? I challenge you, if you've ever found those videos of the people that said, "I've made a ton of money," right? Follow them for more than a couple of months, right? Through several market cycles, a year or two. See how well they're doing. Often what happens, we find they disappear. Why? Because, they had some luck. It worked well for a period of time, but they weren't able to ride out or survive the downturns that are inevitable, and they just disappear on you. So, what our objective is to help people trade over the long term.
Yeah, and it's interesting, Peter. I found a P&L curve that's here from one of our traders in one of the boot camps in the past, right? This P&L curve, is it sharing on YouTube? I think it is. Oh, I see what happened there. Yeah. You notice that, sure, they started off at 0 and they declined over the first portion of it, but that's where they're learning that skill. And then you see it starts to flatten out. And then you see that by the end of boot camp, they've gotten back up to 0. Well, that's what we're looking for, right? Maybe not during boot camp where you're making money, but guess what happens after boot camp? When you have all that more time and mental capacity to really focus on your trading, you're now able to continue that upward slope into the trading that you want. And that's what we're looking for. This is a successful equity curve through boot camp. It's kind of the U shape that John calls it, right? You go down, you flatten out, and you go up. And that means that you're applying the stuff that we are truly looking for. And Aaron asked the question, would you recommend it for beginners? I absolutely would recommend bootcamp for beginners. One, sign up. Make sure you don't sign up right at it. So if you're thinking about it, I would sign up for the January course. That gives you a good 3 months to look through the essentials, do the observation exercise, get knowledge to build up, join the January bootcamp. And by the end of that, that is a 6-month period of trading of knowledge. And at the end of that, you're going to have the tools and the knowledge that you need to have to be a successful trader, or know whether this is right for you. Because we do have some people that go, this is what it takes to be a trader. I thought it was, I just need to copy what you were doing, I'd be a millionaire. I'm not signing up for this. I'm out. That's probably the best $3,000 they've spent, right? Because they found out very quickly that this is informed instead of losing that money in the market over and over and over again and wondering what's going on.
Agreed. I would say that the key thing is be prepared to put in the effort. The boot camp is not for the faint of heart. Like, it is truly an intensive course. There's a lot of material, as Mike said, right? We try not to overwhelm you, but it's constant, right? There's I don't know, almost like a dozen different new sessions that you attend each week. There's obviously your live trading. There's your own study and learning time. You've got to treat it like a university level course where a lot of it is self-directed. We provide the material and provide guidance, but you have to sort of put in the work. Again, life happens, right? And at times people are able to spend more or less time. But what matters is that, you get value out of it. And you really only get value if you're able to sort of put in that level of effort to sort of, gain those skills we keep talking about. So keep that in mind. Yeah,
definitely. So if any of you are interested in it, you can always email me at mike@pcapitaltrading.com or mike@bearabletraders.com. I'll give you information on it. times and all that. We don't do a one-day boot camp. I don't think we could even figure out a way to do a one-day boot camp with everything that we offer in there. So,
yeah. There's a question about, can we do the boot camp in the US? It is a completely online process. So we've had people everywhere in the world, without exaggeration. So yes, you can do it from any country in the world. There's no limitation.
And that's a good point, because we record all the meeting sessions. So even if you're in Europe and the time doesn't work well for you, as long as you develop a routine to watch the sessions the following day, and then send in your questions and answers, or questions that you may have about the meeting, we get back to you. So we've seen traders throughout the entire world. We've had traders from Australia. We've had traders from Singapore, Asia, Europe, India, all over the world.
Yep, indeed. Great. Well, thanks, Mike. Thanks for jumping in and sharing that. Again, if anybody wants information on it, peakcapitaltrading.com is the place to go. You can find out all the information there. If there's still questions that aren't answered, Peter at Peak Capital Trading, Mike at peakcapitaltrading.com. You can email us. We'd be happy to answer it, and make sure that you've got all the information you need to make a good decision. So with that, Mike, once again, thank you. We appreciate it.
Yes. Absolutely.
And, everyone on YouTube, one last reminder, give us a thumbs up and a like. We appreciate it. Sign up for the channel. You can get all the live updates. And we're going to see you back here again tomorrow for the pre-market show starting at 8:30, like we do every single market trading day. Take care and have a
Take care, everybody.
Day, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah, no problem.